Assalamu alaikum. Today I'm going to read AKP clinical case number 10, that is a blue baby boy. This case involves a term baby boy who present with tachypnea, persistent cyanosis, lethargy and poor feeding within 6 hours of birth. These findings immediately raise concern for a neonatal cardiac or respiratory condition requiring urgent evaluation. On examination, the baby's respiratory rate was 60 per minute, which indicate tachypnea. The chest was clear on auscultation, and the heart rate was 120 per minute, which is within normal limits. Importantly, there was an ejection systolic murmur heard at the left upper sternal edge, and there was no evidence of hepatosplenomegaly. We also note the baby's oxygen saturation was 85% in room air, and this did not improve significantly even with 100% oxygen. This is an important clue that suggests there may be a cyanotic congenital heart defect, particularly one involving a right to left shunt. The baby's chest X-ray showed clear but underperfused lungs without cardiomegaly, which indicate reduced pulmonary blood flow. The ECG showed normal neonatal findings, especially right neonatal finding, specifically right ventricular dominance, which is physiological in newborns. Now come to the first question. Which of the following is the most likely diagnosis? After reading this case, the most likely diagnosis in this case is pulmonary valve stenosis. Let me explain how we arrive at this conclusion. The baby has persistent cyanosis that does not respond to 100% oxygen. This strongly points to a condition where blood bypasses the lungs due to a right to left shunt. This is common in ductal dependent congenital heart defects, where the closure of the ductus arteriosus worsen the cyanosis. The ejection systolic murmur heard at the left upper sternal edge supports a diagnosis related to pulmonary valve or right ventricular outflow tract. Additionally, the chest X-ray shows clear but underperfused lungs, which aligns with reduced blood flow to the lungs caused by obstruction at the pulmonary valve. Now let's rule out other possible diagnosis. That is, first option is coarctation of aorta. Coarctation of aorta usually present with weak femoral pulses, acidosis and shock, but cyanosis is not a prominent feature, so it's wrong. Other option is ventricular septal defect. Ventricular septal defect is typically an acyanotic lesion unless there is additional defects like pulmonary hypertension, which is not the case here. Tetralogy of Fallot TOF. TOF can present with cyanosis, but it is unusual for TOF to cause significant cyanosis early because the ductus arteriosus usually remain open for the first few days of life. Next option is patent arterial ductus. It causes a left to right shunt at this stage and does not cause cyanosis. So all the clinical findings fit best with pulmonary valve stenosis, where pulmonary blood flow severely restrictive, leading to cyanosis and ductal dependence. Now let's come to the second question. Which of the following treatment will be most effective at this stage? Select one answer only. So the most effective treatment at this stage is infusion of prostaglandin. Let me explain why. In critical pulmonary valve stenosis, the baby relies on the patent ductus arteriosus for blood flow to the lungs. Here, prostaglandin E1 keeps the ductus open, allowing blood flow to bypass the obstructed pulmonary valve and reach the lungs. This improves oxygenation and stabilizes the baby until a definitive treatment can be performed. Now let's discuss why the other options are not appropriate. Nitric oxide is a pulmonary vasodilator. While it is useful in conditions like pulmonary hypertension, it will not help here because the problem is mechanical obstruction at the pulmonary valve, not increased vascular resistance. Next option, infusion of tolazolene and oral sildenafil also reduce pulmonary vascular resistance. But again, the primary issue here is structural, so these drugs won't address the root cause. Next option is captopril. Captopril is an afterload reducing agent and is helpful in left-sided obstructive lesions like coarctation of aorta, but it has no role in this case. So the prostaglandin E1 is the only treatment that will ensure continued blood flow to the lungs. However, we must monitor the baby closely for side effects of prostaglandin E1, especially apnea, which is common in neonates receiving this drug. Once stabilized with prostaglandin, the next step is a balloon valvoplasty, which is the definitive treatment to relieve the obstruction at the pulmonary valve. If balloon valvoplasty is unsuccessful, then a Blalock tossing shunt can be performed as a temporary surgical procedure to ensure adequate pulmonary blood flow. So here is the summary of this case. This case was of pulmonary valve stenosis, a ductal dependent congenital heart defect. Baby presented with cyanosis, tachypnea, and an ejection systolic murmur. The key finding of oxygen saturation not improving with 100% oxygen points towards a right to left shunt. Initial treatment is prostaglandin E1 infusion, which keeps the ductus arteriosus open and ensures blood flow to the lungs. Definitive treatment involves balloon valvoplasty with a Blalock tossing shunt as a backup option if needed. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any question related this case, comment below, like, subscribe and share.